Previously on the adventures of Joe and Jim.
So we're two childhood friends that have made a bucket list. We're going to fly around the world and tick every single one of these off.
Me and Jim grew up on the same street in a small town in England, and since we've met, all we've ever talked about is going on this adventure and completing this list of dreams. On the last episode, we started our world adventure in Rio de Janeiro, the first country in this series that will take us all around South America. So far, we've seen our first wonder of the world and completely butchered the samba dance. But we can't hang up our dancing shoes just yet, as our next country is world renowned for the tango.
You're watching
The adventures
of
Joe.
Jim.
If I had to pick a country to die in, Argentina would be up there. Spending days filled with unlimited supplies of wine watching tango dancers as I happily suffer death by me. But before we got to Argentina, we were told that we had to stop in Uruguay. A backpacker in Brazil convinced us it would be worth it, giving us an itinerary of 3 things that can't be missed. The first he described as the best thing he'd ever seen: a hand sculpture rising from the beach in Punta del Este.
Welcome, we're in Punta del Este on the Uruguayan coast. I suggest you do not come here. If you do come here, stay here for all of 5 minutes, because I'm very bored already and I can't wait to get on the bus home. It's crap. Here it is. What do you think about it, Joe?
Let's get back on the bus.
Okay, so not a good start to Uruguay, but we're feeling confident about the second thing on the itinerary, so we headed to Montevideo, Uruguay's capital. We didn't know a lot about Uruguay before coming here, other than the first FIFA World Cup was held here and 90% of the president's wages goes to charity. But now we know about the street food, number 2 on the list of things to do in Uruguay.
Chorizo. First time trying Uruguayan street food. It's the chorizo sausage. Got some of the picantes in there, the peppers, the onions, the sweet corns. It's very good. I really like it.
2 down and 1 to go. The last thing to find on the list was a local hangout by the coast. We asked the local security guard for directions, which somehow got lost in translation, resulting in the man beatboxing in our face as Joe kept up our South American tradition of dancing like a twat.
With no help from our new Uruguayan friend, we eventually found it. We had stumbled upon the Uruguayan version of the African watering hole, where after a long day in the sun, Uruguayans come together in herds to sip from a mysterious cup.
Had a really relaxing day, ain't that right?
Yep. At the end of the day, everyone comes here, chills out, and everyone is drinking tea. Everyone.
It's pronounced mate.
Mate.
Mate. It looks like weed in a cup. And they just pour boiling hot water in there out of a flask, and they're carrying it around 24/7. Everyone's drinking it. Just everyone.
As the sun disappears, so did the mysterious cups. Today would not be our day to try South Americans' version of the Holy Grail. In the shadow of Montevideo streets lies the true Uruguay, the exact vision you have when you think of Latin America. The street seems to move with the rhythm of the guitar. As the temperature changed from blazing heat to a warm blanket, we cooled ourselves on the pavement slabs and drank beer with the locals. Tomorrow we set sail for Argentina. Maybe here we would find the Holy Grail. The next day it only took a few hours by ferry to arrive in our hostel in Argentina's capital. Here we quickly befriended an Australian couple who would join us on our adventures around Argentina.
When a bug's fucking annoying you in Australia, this is how we do it. Problem solved.
The first place we would explore together would be a cemetery in the Recoleta neighbourhood.
We're in the famous cemetery in Buenos Aires. That's where we are. This place is crazy.
So eerie.
That would have to be like the best descriptive word for this whole place.
They have actual street signs. This is so big.
The BBC called this place the world's best cemetery. We call it the creepiest. In England, we have little tombstones to remember our loved ones. Here, Argentina's most influential figures spend all of eternity in mausoleums bigger than flats in London, each one with a unique design.
It looks like a pizza oven. No disrespect, Nicholas. It's quite eerie, but I like it. It's calm, peaceful.
This city of the dead holds stories of an old gravedigger who can be heard wandering the cemetery at night, and a story of a girl that was buried alive by accident after she fell into a coma, only to find the coffin open the next morning with scratches on the inside of the lid and the girl's face.
Oh my God, it's James, Joseph and James. Oh no. It's me and you.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if they'd actually been buried with like anything valuable. Like, it looks like someone's just broken in there.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Someone's actually broken into
There's
it.
actually piles of coffins down there. You can actually see them.
These ones are really horrible.
Look, in there. It's like just piled up coffins.
All around the cemetery, crypts have been broken into and coffin lids ajar. Could it be grave robbers? Or did they meet the same unfortunate end as the girl?
This one's just for a kid. Oh, the glass is broken.
Oh, it's like half open.
That's a tiny 8-year-old.
That is a small 8-year-old.
It was time to let the dead rest in peace, if that was even possible being a top tourist attraction. The night descended over the city. Recoletta's most famous resident, Eva Perón, looked over us from the building tops, as we headed with some new friends from our hostel to eat something long awaited on the bucket list: Argentinian steak.
Hey, we're getting the photo.
How's the steak, everyone? Have you tried it yet?
Can you send it to me? Delicious!
Quality. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So good.
How good is it, 1 to 10?
It's actually 10, I think. 10, yeah. Peppercorn sauce as well with it. Oh. It's beautiful.
I like Jamie Oliver.
How good is the steak? Is it good?
Actually, yes.
It's probably one of the best steaks I've ever had in my entire life.
How about this?
Really?
How about you compare this beat to like the red? Which one's better?
We spent our last few days how we think you should in Buenos Aires, by eating and drinking your way through the city, until you realise that you've eaten nothing but meat since you've got here and should probably do some exercise. So we headed for a stroll to a place where we heard you could feed llamas.
How close can we even get to them?
It soon became apparent this is exactly what we needed to sweat out all of that meat.
Oh my God, look over there. Now we've got into the llamas territory. This has no rules and no regulations as to at all. There's no go. For fuck's sake, Fuck off. Oh my God, more backup on it. Oh shit, I got
He thinks you're feeding him, Jim.
that fuck.
In fear for our life, we took a 3-hour flight to the south of Argentina, to a region called Patagonia, shared by Argentina and Chile. Arriving late at night in the small mountain town of El Calafate, we decided to spend the night in the airport.
So we made it to El Calafate. Using my plastic bag for some sheets. I'm ready to sleep now. 3 nights accommodation in the airport. Why not?
From there, we took an 1.5-hour bus to see the next on the bucket list, the Perito Moreno Glacier. Due to global warming, where most glaciers worldwide are in retreat, the Perito Moreno Glacier bucks the global trend and is instead growing even larger. As the glacier grows in size, large cracks begin to appear, and if you're lucky enough, you can be there when one of those massive chunks falls into the lake.
Boom! Well, you think about it, a big bit of ice comes down. There's fucking a few tons there. Yeah.
What's happening,
I
guys?
can tell a big one's going to go down. I feel it.
It's going to go over there or on that corner there.
Patagonia. As though the glacier is talking to us, it begins to let out a series of rumbles. First a short one, then slightly longer, until you realise it's warning you that it's about to collapse. And if you want to see it, you have to be quick.
All the ice is breaking. Quick! Quick, Sky.
I'm coming, Joe. Isn't it beautiful?
Ahí te cayó.
And that was actually only a small one.
That
actually sounded.
But did you see it? It hit it, and then you didn't hear the sound for
Yeah.
like.
This time only a small one, but then the cracking started again. We patiently waited. And waited. Until... boom.
It's a rainbow!
Tell me you got that on film.
Yeah.
Tell me you got that on film. What the fuck?
Whoa, James!
Holy mother of God. Look how nice and blue that is. It's actual crystal blue.
The regenerating Perito Moreno Glacier and the towering Mount Fitzroy to the north are like the grandparents of Patagonia, looking over us as they did with the pioneers before us. According to legend, Patagonia got its name after the arrival of the first European explorers to land here. Rumours were quickly spread of a giant race of men doubling the size of Europeans living here in the surrounding mountains. So it came to be known as Patagonia, meaning the land of the big feet. Although there were certainly no giants in sight, that didn't make you feel any less tiny in comparison to the vast landscape around you.
That's probably the best view I've ever seen, I think.
How good is this fucking scenery, man?
Yeah, these are the kind of days that you travel for.
The views were truly breathtaking, but we had to leave this icy land of mountains, lakes and glaciers to head up north once again to warmer climates. Taking in the scenery along the way, we headed for Mendoza to cycle around local vineyards and knock back wine all day, a challenge we were well adept for. Due to the high altitude of Mendoza, a town situated in the Andes Mountains, this town, more than any other in Argentina, is renowned for its wine, and lots of it. Up to 2/3 of Argentina's overall wine production. The first stop was the Lagarde Vineyard. Although admittedly we know nothing about wine, that doesn't stop us loving the effects of it.
It's only 80 to
Yeah,
that
great year too.
What year is it?
2013 is a great year.
It's a natural sweetness, it's not artificial, it's like a fruit juice. We always say this one is very dangerous because you don't feel the alcohol. It's very fruity, but then it has, remember.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Everyone has their do's and don'ts when it comes to drinking, and we're no different. Generally speaking, close to the top of any amateur's list of what not to do is drink while in control of a moving vehicle and drink whilst on an empty stomach.
Joe, you're not going to eat today, you're going to drink, right? You're going to drink through that hunger with me. Because I'm not eating anything today.
Unfortunately, we were guilty of both. Having woke up late and skipped breakfast, the only option left was to soldier on. Along with our band of backpackers from our hostel, we made our way to our second winery.
How much wine do you store here at a time?
Totally, with the basement and the first floor, 1 million liters.
1 million liters?
Yes, and it's a small winery. It's a small winery in Mendoza. Medium size is 10 million liters. Big one, over 20 million liters.
One glass quickly turns into 3, which turns into 5. And it's easy to see how you can get carried away surrounded by the abundance of good wine.
With time, so when you use oak, you can store longer. And it's more spicy.
It was back on the bikes into our third and final vineyard, albeit this time a bit wobblier than before and losing a couple passengers along the way.
Hold up! We've lost 2!
We arrived at Bodega Carmela Patti, a family-run vineyard named after the man who founded it. The son of a Sicilian winemaker, Carmelo made his start after selling his car to finance his dreams of building his own winery. Initially making wine out of his garage, he quickly started working his magic. With his reputation beginning to grow, so did his production, resulting in him making his mark as one of the biggest names in wine to come from Mendoza. Carmelo Patti is known as the godfather of wine. As his daughter asked if we would like a sample, an offer we couldn't refuse, the man himself walked in.
You're from England. England.
He was eager to know which of his famous wines were our favourite.
Cabernet, yes.
He liked all of them.
He also wanted us to sign his books, a record of travellers who visited him, showing how famous his wines have become worldwide.
Houston, Texas, Germany, Sweden, Australia, Washington, Texas, Peru, Berlin, Chicago, they're everywhere. It's just from all over the place, isn't it?
Today we met a true legend. Leaving our signature in the vineyards behind us, we made an intoxicated ride to bed, where tomorrow we awaited a headache.
See you later, girl.
Lucky for us, a girl in our hostel possessed what we've been searching for since Uruguay. South Americans' version of the Holy Grail, yerba mate. A plant-based drink believed by South Americans to have many health benefits, including maybe curing a hangover.
This nice lady's going to teach us how to drink real mate.
To drink mate, you will need a gourd, the yerba mate, a bombilla, which is like a straw with a filter in it, and sugar is optional.
We have tea bags in England, cups of tea.
Sí.
It's different for us. Making a right mess. Put this in.
Sí.
Like this.
Ajá. Más azúcar.
Azúcar. Do you mix it or just?
No. Así.
Okay.
Está caliente. Despacito.
Slowly.
Exacto. Slowly.
It's nice.
See?
I like it. Mate.
Good.
Oh, you're filming it as well.
Yerba mate's origins come from the indigenous Guarani people. Legend has it the mate plant was a gift from the goddess of the moon and the clouds after the Guarani people saved them from a jaguar. Now known as the drink of friendship, it has become a cultural activity for family, friends and strangers.
Pero igual
Mate. The filter doesn't really do anything.
Ay, ¿cómo? ¿Qué te quemas?
Ah, le paso la yerba.
No move.
Don't move.
No.
After learning that moving the straw is the #1 faux pas of mate drinking, we were energised for the next on the bucket list, to learn the tango dance.
And that's how you make mate.
Showing we can't dance has become a reoccurring theme in South America. So after seeing the tango performed in its hometown of La Boca, Buenos Aires, I thought I'd keep up the tradition. So today I'll be showing myself up again with a local tango instructor.
Your feet, and please don't show this.
Yeah. Your toes coming through your shoe.
Yeah. And now, there's always the same steps in tango, 8 steps.
Okay.
Yeah? Come.
Okay.
By my side, please. The first one, again, and the second. Perfect. Then,
These are just the basic steps.
the basic, yeah. But you have a lot of things to put on that basic steps.
They're so hard, just the basic steps.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to understand with the other person because you need to show the girl when you want he turn or something, you do it with your hand, you know, with your.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's clear in my face that this is awkward. This is not natural to me. I've had to go on around 3 dates with a girl before you get to this level of physical contact.
Perfect.
As much as I try, years of British social awkwardness cannot be deleted from my brain in an hour dance lesson.
Bueno, el baile de tango es argentino. Por suerte, hoy por hoy, un montón de gente joven está incursionando en lo que es el baile de tango, cosa que hace algunos años no se daba, era solamente para la gente grande, y hoy por hoy podemos encontrar que es un movimiento donde los jóvenes se están acercando mucho a lo que es el baile del tango,
a la música, a interpretarlo, a tocarlo, y se encuentran millones de lugares, especialmente en Buenos Aires, de lugares donde se puede ir a bailar tango. Hay muchos lugares también turísticos y bueno, también lo puedes encontrar en las calles. O sea, eso es algo muy lindo que bueno, perdura en el tiempo, que como sabemos empezó en los años 30, todo lo que es el movimiento del tango, y hoy por hoy sigue estando, y el argentino se siente muy identificado con ese movimiento.
Over the past few days, we've put our livers to the test and encountered the most sexually awkward dance we have ever seen. We needed to relax, so we sought out the local hot springs, where visitors and locals alike come to bathe in the hot pools amongst the mountainous scenery. It was here that we met a local family that had a lot to say, but to our confusion, no way of understanding.
You're basically a comedian.
Don't understand anything, but have you put the camera on it? Every single person looking at me right now.
Let me look at it from your view.
I'm a fucking comedian. I was on here for a bit and I just started speaking to a massive Argentinian family.
Are you speaking English?
Am I?
Are you speaking English?
Are you speaking English?
Grande familia.
Everyone's here.
Big family. She speaks English.
You speak English?
The best English.
Everyone.
I'm not sure what this cheerful old man wanted from me, but he seemed to be happy to have me around and showed me off to his whole family. A captivated audience of 3 generations I felt compelled to perform for. After repeatedly failing to break the language barrier, I at least wanted to teach them one thing on our departing.
You say, mi amigo? My friend.
Ciao. Very nice to meet you. You're Linda. Linda. Buena vida. And you too.
Well, at least it was a friendly encounter with smiles all around. I guess floating the afternoon away in a warm bath of happiness tends to leave everyone in a good mood. But our time in Argentina had come to an end. There is only one way to end an Argentinian adventure, and that's riding into the sunset through the Andes Mountains like a true gaucho. Gauchos are the cowboys of Argentina, romanticised as being brave master horsemen who live a nomadic life. On horse by day and drinking by the crackling fire under the stars at night, gauchos are said to ride horses before they can walk. Where we come from, the phrase is don't run before you can walk. So with this being our first time on a horse with absolutely no experience, they taught us the gaucho way and sent our horse into a gallop.
I was very close to coming off there. Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, because this doesn't look lovely, does it?
Riding along a cliff edge of the Andes Mountains on a horse that can sense we have no idea what we're doing, the sun begins to set. Our thoughts are on our Argentinian exploration. From the end of the world to meeting a master of wine, learning why it takes 2 to tango as a sexual reference, and getting lost in translation with an Argentinian family. To now, eating piles of meat in the Andes Mountains with gauchos. One day the bucket list will take us to the Antarctic, and for that we will have to pass through this land again. So in the famous words of Eva Perón, don't cry for me, Argentina, we'll be back.
It's recording.
Hey, welcome. We're in Punta del Sol, and no, we're not in Punta del Sol. Scratch that. Forceful.
It's a video.
So, vamos a decirles acá. You are watching the adventures of John G.
Oh god, so close.
This one is the worst. No, delete it. Show.
Don't delete it. Don't delete it.
No, please, please.
No. Don't
So
delete
please,
it.
delete the other one, the last one.
I got some eggs. You see, I was saving this for breakfast tomorrow. Pretty sure it'll be better than breakfast. It'll be better than breakfast, right? Gives me one shot.
What's up, dog?
Sounds like the boxers here. Must have shot himself.
You like egg? This guy likes egg.
Smash the thing bottle now.
I really don't want to leave here now.
No, no dejes. Don't leave Milhouse.
We have a
En
fucking
español
fight,
ahora.
though.
Porfa, por favor.